Okay, this is Mickey Rowland, Chair of HSAB. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda. Our president can hear me. Lucy?
Yes.
Brooke?
Yes.
Angus?
Here.
Thank you. No staff and no anticipated speakers. This open meeting of HSAB is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. For this meeting, HSAB is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join in. Participants may find information on the conduct of this meeting at that location. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Each vote taken at this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay, that's out of the way. Members, adoption of agenda.
Yes.
Brooke,
Yes.
seconded by Brooke.
Yep.
Hi.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Lucy, Brooke, and Angus.
I
Thanks, guys.
suppose.
Well done. Approval of minutes, we don't have any, so we're not going to approve any. So we're going to move on to just note that the written agenda, the published agenda is different than the list that on the view pack. So this has its own order to it. The first one is posted as 2 Atlantic Avenue, but it's actually 7. And I'll try to get that up on the screen.
Mickey, just as a point of order, the minutes that we take every week that we end up looking at and all voicing our opinion if we've got one other than what is there.
Yeah.
Instead of just not voting on the minutes, should we just vote on the previous week's minutes every week to just so that there is some sort of approval for our minutes?
Well, at the end of the meeting, we always make a motion to approve comments for agenda items. That's what you're referring to, right?
Okay. Yeah, no, I was mixing that up with the one in the beginning.
Now, the one in the beginning is the minutes, which are published on the website. And if you ever open those, it's basically just a formalized version of our comments. It's the same thing. Just
Gotcha.
put into their format. And I don't know why we don't have any this week, but we don't. But we've already approved them as of last time at the end of our last meeting. So here we are at 7 Atlantic Ave.
No concerns.
No
Yeah.
concerns.
This
No
is the
concerns.
basement stair. No, sounds like there's no concerns, and I agree. So the next one is,
Oh, well, the only thing would be if the stair could go the opposite way. I mean, if all things are the same, it would be
Yeah.
better, I think, for everybody, the people on the street and the people coming from the back with the furniture or whatever that's going down in there.
yeah, we just don't know what's going on in their basement. But if you'd like, I'll just say, could the stairs be switched? All right, so I'll say no concerns, but stairs. Okay. Moving on to 71 North Liberty. Oops, Karen. We have a Karen. Okay, this is demo of the pool at 71 North Liberty. This is the existing pool. So we don't have Steve Thoreau here.
I'm here, Mickey.
Oh, you are here.
I'm here.
Oh, it says Karen, there you are.
Oh, it just logged me on.
Okay, good. I'm glad you are here.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
All right, we have an existing pool at this location on North Liberty Street that is deteriorated. And we originally had asked for a pool company to come in and give us a quote to renovate it. The quote to renovate it was more than a quote to put a new one in. By putting a new one in, we can make this conform to zoning and get rid of some zoning violations that are currently existing there. And it can't be seen from the public way. You cannot see this from Liberty Street or from the conservation land that's behind it.
So let's talk about that. Coffin Park abuts this property.
Yep.
And it's probably fairly wooded or possibly even swampy along the property edge. But if you were to get there, couldn't you look in and see it?
No, because the back of the lot is surrounded by 20-foot tall bamboo.
Wow.
It runs all the back side of the lot. I think I gave you some photos.
Let's see.
Yeah, you see how how dense it is back there?
I guess so. It's hard to, you don't have any pictures of the actual pool unless this
Well,
is,
it's because it's right behind this tree right here. You see the low tree right there?
yeah.
Yeah, it's right behind there. You can just barely see it right here. To the
Okay.
left of that tree, you can just barely see it. I think I gave you another one, right, for the street or,
Well, you got a couple more. This is the
Yeah.
street.
yeah, it is way behind this house, 300, 200 something feet from the road.
Yep. And here's,
It is the front of the house. You can see, again, the house blocks that, and again, we're 250 feet behind it. You can see how far that goes to the back of the lot there.
mhm.
And this is Coffin Park, and you're right, but this is a dense area of planting all the way around the pool that my client has. And in the back stand, there is a big stand of bamboo that currently exists.
Okay. So this is ROH, and from my understanding, pools are not permitted in ROH today, correct?
That's correct, but we are before the zoning board of appeals to redo this pool.
Okay.
Arthur Reed is taking it as my client's attorney and presenting it to the zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
But his thought was that's an existing pool and it should be able to be either maintained or improved due to its existing configuration and the fact that it's not visible from the public way.
Right. Now, Steve, is this a swimming pool or is this more of like a fish pond or that kind of thing?
Well, in the old days, I think it used to be a fish pond, but it's actually used by my client for his tenants to swim in. It is quite large and very deep in this end section over here.
Okay, so how deep is it?
I think it's about 6 or 7 feet in the deepest end, and over here in the shallow end, maybe 3 feet.
And is it a concrete lined pool?
Yeah, it's a concrete lined pool, Mickey. Yeah.
Wow, okay. And it looks like it's totally shaded and covered with tall trees and stuff. Is that right?
That is correct.
Are they going to be opening that up when they put the pool in?
No. We're going to be opening a small swatch just to get the pool in and get the equipment in and then replant.
Got it. All right. Anybody else have questions for Steve on this one?
Yeah, I do. I see that the grill is right there at the back near the pool.
The new plan, I'm sorry.
On the new plan, the grill.
Yeah, it's right there. It's out of the setback.
I mean, this is not HSAP thing, but is that grill near the bamboo?
No, the grill is a regular grill. If you look at the old plan, the grill currently is there, but it's in the setback along with the sauna.
Okay, I'm just thinking fire safety.
Yeah, no, everything will conform.
Okay, and is the pool the same size?
It's actually a little slightly smaller.
Okay, and the spa, is how much higher than the pool does that sit?
It is not, it's flat.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a similar question about the form, new versus old, and the elevation remains the same.
Elevation angle remains the same. The form of the pool was taken from the shape of the existing pool itself. there is a tree right here. Where it says wood deck, just below the pool. So we're pretty much taking that same form and putting it back.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Brooke, any thoughts?
No, I mean, it's a smaller pool. It's out of zoning. It's, and actually because it's out of zoning, it's probably even less visible from Coffin Park. Just because there's a little more distance. So I don't really have any concerns.
Okay, I don't really either, but I will say no concerns as long as it's not visible from Coffin Park.
Absolutely.
And smaller than the previous pool.
Well, you can see that on the plan. But the old
Okay.
pool is larger than the other one.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
So there was actually two applications there. One was for the demo, and I'm gonna assume there's no concerns with the demo, correct, gang?
Correct.
Right.
And then so with the new pool, which we just basically covered, we're saying no concerns as long as it's not visible from Coffin Park.
Correct.
Good?
And
Mhm.
Mickey, we still have the ZBA hurdle to go through.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, that's not gonna be the easy part, but I appreciate your time today.
Okay, thank you, Steve. We'll
Thank
see
you very
Steve.
much.
Yep. Okay, two down. Next is for Swain. And that's window replacement. This is a pretty new building, 1983, I think it said. All right. Where did it say that? Yeah, house built in 1983. It's on Swain Street. This is an area, Brooke, SDL's okay in this area, Anderson's.
Yeah, there are Anderson SDLs down there. Let's see, Swain, is it on it's on the corner, it's near Walsh.
It's here.
So with granted, it was an older home, but if you look adjacent or 45 degrees adjacent to this property, there's 8 Walsh Street. And the HDC had requested that any SDLs be made of wood for 8 Walsh. Now, 8 Walsh is a more historic home. It was a 1923 bungalow.
Looks like right here, diagonally.
Yeah, diagonally southeast.
Yep.
So I mean, I think that it would be nicer looking to have wood SDLs, but
Mhm.
I think that there are enough buildings nearby there where it's sort of a gray area.
Well, how well do you know that area? Are there other buildings with Anderson windows in that area?
It's I think if you go around to Cornish Street, that whole area, I think that there's Anderson's. But no, most. Yeah, I can't say with certainty, but we've got the house that you designed, like right across from there. I know that's wood windows.
Right here.
House that's on the corner of Walsh and Swain is wood windows. 8 Walsh is wood windows. 21, 22, 21, 23, and 25 Walsh are wood SDLs. And then of course, across the street on Swain Street, those are all wood, either Boston sash. Well, I think they're all Boston sash. So I think in the area, I think Anderson's, like in the immediate area, I think Anderson's would stand out.
Can I suggest that we recommend wood, and maybe as part of their application, they could do a survey if they want to of what all's where, but it sounds like there's more wood than not down there. And the more we switch off of wood and go to some other material, I think that will, continue to trend. So, where do we want it to end up?
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
both of you. I think also that the client should get the best looking results as possible.
I agree. I think it's a Brant Point, Brant Point is a historic area. And I think it's worthy of having wood windows rather than just vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got would prefer to see wood SDLs.
Yeah,
works for me.
Okay. Great. All right. Next. 117 Orange. This is the old video store. I'm not real clear what they're doing here.
I think it's trim color change.
Let's look at the application. I thought they were changing windows too. It does say on the east, add 4 light windows, 2nd floor.
Oh, so that's on the street.
Yeah. Change white trim to gray, Quaker gray, add and doors and windows to be black. Replace all mismatched windows and door from Anderson and Brasco to all Anderson. Okay,
So change out Brosco's to Anderson.
exactly.
No, that's a
Building-
historic building.
1854 historic building.
yeah, this is really old.
It's really
That's a,
old.
that's a non-starter.
I agree.
The comments that the HTC had from the previous application with the French doors, we questioned the French doors being on the street side, and they questioned them, and then they approved it unanimously. So
Now, what's going on there?
They made a mistake.
We think they did. Okay, so my comments basically says this is the turn of the century building and the windows should not be replaced. They should be restored. Andersons are not appropriate for new windows. They should be wood TDLs.
if they want to make all the windows consistent, replace the Andersons with Brosco's or whatever.
Or Green Mountain.
Or Green Mountain, even better. Do you know anyone who could sell them that?
I
I'll sell you this pen.
don't All right, let's move on. Any other comments on that one?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I would almost say that the black paint job isn't appropriate to the building, but
Yep.
Let's
Agreed.
look at that. It's all.
I actually would be happy to see gray trim though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Gray trim is fine, but would rather not see black.
Sash.
Is that what he wants, sash? Not the trim.
Well, he was talking about Anderson, so it's the black unit. So if you take away the Anderson component, then it's just black sash. So if we just say no black anything, no black windows or window units.
I think they said black doors too.
What are they now? Dark green or black?
Well, they're white, right?
No,
I'm looking at the picture on there now.
Yeah. Well, oh, right. That is black.
well, they have the trim Quaker gray, sash black, doors black on the application.
All right, let's say gray trim is fine, but would rather not see black sash.
Great.
We won't talk about the doors. So let's look at the windows they're proposing. It's presumably, I guess that's east. I don't know if these are existing or not. Anybody care if they're new?
Is there there's no before
There's
and
no
after?
existing, yeah, there's no drawings saying what's existing or,
And
What
there's
about
no
existing
photos?
photos?
well, the photos don't even show that side of the building. So I don't know.
Well, I think since it's such a historic building, we should ask for them.
Yeah.
The photos?
photos or what's existing?
Yeah, the existing drawings. We're used to seeing existing drawings.
Yeah, I think we need existing.
Existing drawing and existing photos. That's just part of the application.
I mean, it's 1854 building.
Yeah.
And it's right there. We all go by it constantly.
So this is not a turn of the century building. It's an 1800s.
Yeah, it's a pre,
This is a. Okay, we'd like to see existing drawings and photos. This was built in 1854 and the windows should not be replaced. They should be restored. Andersons are not appropriate for new windows. They should be wood TDLs. Gray trim is fine, but would rather see black sash. Good?
Great.
what do you mean rather see black sash? We don't
No,
want to see
yeah,
black sash.
rather not see black.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. I made not this, would rather not see black sash.
Works for me.
Okay,
All right. Okay. Moving down. 41, we still don't have 41B Cliff Road. Did that show up in anybody's email anywhere?
no,
Yeah.
All right, so we'll skip that one. Down to 99 Main Street fence. This is the old Thomas Macy house, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you all think of this one?
I went by there and looked at that. Well, if everybody remembers that the guy next door in the new house put in that little puddle pool or whatever you want to call those things. So I really don't blame them for wanting to put a fence in. However, as our last meeting, remember one of the bricks wanted to put in this high fence?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have a hard time with people in the historic district, especially on such a well-traveled way by tourists, that putting in these high fences. I mean, 6 feet high, I think is excessive. I mean, I understand wanting privacy, but you know, you're right there on Main Street and this is Nantucket. I mean, if you wanted more privacy, you could have bought a house somewhere else. I mean, this is the NHA, but I think that 6 feet, a solid board fence, 6 feet high is excessive.
Well, so let's look at where they're putting what.
Is there a site plan?
Yeah, here we go. All right. That's not very clear. Shows new fence, it doesn't say how high. Similar.
Is there a color code there? Red for part and blue for another part, or green?
Well, it's hard to tell.
The photos have spell it out, like from you know, what sections are 6 foot board. And it looks like it goes to a post cap that's about that's not all the way down to that white board fence.
Right here.
Yeah.
So 6 feet from here back,
Yeah.
sure where here is. But it's not all the way to the front.
And we can certainly make that a condition.
Yeah.
Can that start the next post back? I mean, what's the difference? It's just house to house and the windows are looking over the fence. It's just weird to see that high fence come very close to the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's that post. It looks like it's one section back. It's hard to see how deep that is.
Do the view from the street again. Yeah, number 6, I think.
Not very clear. Who submitted this application?
Linda.
Um,
What I'm suggesting is just that next post back.
yeah. All right, but we don't even know how far back that is. So maybe we can be a little vague and just say, would like to see the 6-foot section. 6-foot fence start. How far back from front of the
One
building?
fence post back from where it's proposed.
How about one fence post back from corner board of NHA property? So instead of coming right up to that board fence gate, it's one fence post back.
How about if we do it just past the back of the building, which might be back here.
That's the post I'm suggesting, the one underneath the.
Oh, you're
30
right. Yep. Is there any other identifying?
If there were a real site plan, we could refer to it.
Only.
Come on.
Looks like the grade steps up back here. How about where the grade changes, right? The back of the walkway.
Isn't the grade changing the whole way along the property though?
Oh, is it? I can't tell. It looks
I
like
don't-
it might be sloping up, but there's an actual step here, it looks like. Yeah, that looks like a step.
Can we just say the post underneath the 32 feet? In the picture looking through the alley?
Well, is that the only 32-foot number?
I think it would look better if to that post that Angus is mentioning, but if the fence was stepped down the way it's already stepped down once, if it was stepped down again. And then don't forget that she's also looking to increase the height of that white gate going to the back of the property
Mhm.
to 6 feet.
Okay, so there's one post and then this post, that's the post I think Angus is talking about.
Yep.
And then here's where the grade probably changes in this taller one. Probably right, yeah, right here. And that's the back of the building. You can see the corner board and the downspout. I'd rather see the fence change to a tall at this point, to be honest. It's more defined as, it's not like halfway through the house. And I can't imagine why it matters. It's just shingles on the other side.
At the steps on the north.
Yeah, the back of the building where the steps are, and that's a pretty clear point. No confusion there.
Even better.
Okay. I'd like to see the fence start, 6-foot fence start at back of 99. Great. Where there is a step to the back. Yeah. Now, how about we care about that front one changing? This is apparently 3 feet. That means these fences must be really low.
Like 2 feet.
Yeah.
And
That other fence has got to be taller than 3 feet.
Yeah, I'd say that's at least 42.
Yeah, because follow that level line all the way up to the guy standing up there.
yeah,
Yeah. I kind of agree, but the handle, I don't know, it's the numbers. I could, maybe 36, but that, that would make this pretty low, and it might be, I kind of remember this
A
being,
lot of those fences on the street are like 30 inches
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
at most.
So if it is 36, then it's gonna end up being, up here,
Yeah, cutting into the window view.
as high as the,
Higher than that. I would say
Yeah.
like the third board up from the sill.
yeah.
I
Oh.
think that fence should stay the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we did. That's what we requested last week with Your Eyes project. I mean, this is the example of the board fence that is on the 3 bricks, except for the last one on the left going into town. Yeah,
I mean, do we want these high fences all along between these buildings? I don't think so.
I don't think so either, to be honest. I am,
This is like another thing that's going to creep around the island.
I'm happy to say we'd rather see the front gate remain at 36.
Remain as it is.
Yeah,
I think what would have been helpful is just an elevation of the fence, showing the length of the fence, plus where it might step down as it moved towards the front. I think we're trying to decipher something and create parameters without the proper reference points.
well,
So
this is a common problem.
I understand that, but I'm just trying to say this constructively.
Well, we just need documentation to be able to reference to.
Yes,
Well, why don't we say without proper documentation that the front fence stays as is? And that the only thing that we're okay with is the back section or whatever, however you guys think it should be changed. If we don't have the proper information, we're not going to approve anything else.
Well, she'll probably say that she said it's 36, and maybe it is. So I'm not sure we know for sure that it's not, said to replace existing 36-inch fence. Doesn't mention.
how about we're okay with like kind on the front?
Well, that's kind of what I have. Would rather see the front gate remain at current height.
Well, we need to put it in HDC language.
Do
Look
they- What is that, Brooke?
Requesting like kind for front gate. And until we get elevations of the fence, then the only thing we'd be comfortable recommending is that the rear section where the guy is in the photograph be changed. Does that work?
Yeah, but the guy could be halfway between the front fence and the back fence.
Well, that's true. And he could be right at the gate and he could just be really small. All right. I don't know that we should spin our wheels too much over this. It's obvious that it's hard to decipher this.
Can I just leave it the way it is? Would like to
Yeah.
see 6-foot fence start at the back of 99 Main where there is a step, and would rather see front gate remain at current height.
I would say the front gate stay as is. I think it should be painted and it's the same height.
And style,
Yeah,
basically stay as is.
Okay, and remain as is.
Yep.
Good. All right. Sounds good. My video is not working. I don't know why, but anyway, you don't need it. All right. 99 Main down to 12 Straight Wharf. Oh, we got Matt coming on. All right, so this is the Thomas Macy warehouse. All right, they want to go with storm windows. Did anybody read this description of the application? Is it Ben's? Where did I see something about polycarbonate? Yeah,
What?
units to be built with African mahogany, UV resistant sign grade polycarbonate. Now, I'm assuming we're talking about the glass section, not the anything else, because the rest is mahogany. So we're talking about plastic.
Instead of glass, it's a high density plastic.
Yep. My thoughts on this, and I'll read them. This would be much more appropriate to have interior storm windows. This is a historic museum quality building, and the polycarbonate storm windows would highly detract from its appearance.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Lucy?
I do agree with you. There were comments farther down that I was going to be looking for. She says the doors are beginning to age. Details of the original hardware restored and replaced on the doors. We went down there and looked at those doors. I could have sworn that they are been oiled or somewhat other sort of treatment on them, and they do not appear to be aging. And if we're going to be talking hardware, as Kevin says, that door handle looks like something that belongs on a refrigerator.
This
So,
is the street side, the front of the building?
well, they're open like that all the time.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So that you can look at those glass doors that they put in without approval and then went for an as-built.
Did they approve that? Do we know?
I believe they did. And they're horrible. They're lobby doors.
I know.
Well, we're only looking at the storms here.
I know.
I
Yeah.
know,
Let's not go down there. I
Yeah.
mean,
Brooke, I'm only making that comment because she made a comment in the application about the hardware.
where?
Could you please go to the sketch, Mickey, that shows the section sort of detail? So it's hard to really see this, but those are pretty deep recesses into the brick for the windows. Where are they proposing for the storms to go? I mean, we would rather them be inside, but
So this is new material, I'm guessing. Here's here's the splayed casing.
oh, so you lose the whole splaying.
Probably. There's a detailed picture here. It shows
Oh, wow.
display. Oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Here's
Yeah,
Linda.
that storm it couldn't go anywhere but on the display.
We've got Linda joining us.
Yeah, I think inside's much better.
Yeah. Linda, you there? Yeah, I definitely prefer an interior.
Mhm. I mean, with those doors, those glass doors, and then you're going to have these storms, changes
Linda,
the whole look.
Linda, are you on? Linda?
Yes.
Okay, we're talking about the Macy warehouse.
Oh, did you get there already?
Got there already. You missed 99 Main.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
Yeah.
It's not that fast. Here's the problem. You guys, we don't come to you for storms. We don't come to anybody for storms. The reason why we're coming to you for storms is that we made an agreement with the HDC that if we do something to the building, given what happened with those doors inside, that we will come back just to let them know what we were doing with this building. These are custom made, mahogany, red, same color, storms, period. That's all we're here for.
just to verify what we're reading on Ben's estimate, polycarbonate window sash or glass, correct? Sign grade polycarbonate.
I don't know what it means, but I assume so.
Okay.
Plastic.
Plastic. So here's what we're coming up with at the moment. We and I'll read you what we're saying. This would be much more appropriate to have interior storm windows. This is a historic museum quality building, and the polycarbonate storm windows would highly detract from its appearance.
I will tell Ben that.
Can Ben make interior storm windows? I mean, why can't we do that?
I don't believe there's a sill on the inside you can do it with. I'd have to go back in there and take another picture inside.
Well, I'm sure even without a sill, there's probably a way to do an interior storm.
Unless you want to put plastic on the inside. We're not putting glass on the inside that's hanging out over the outside of over the inside of the window, not
Well,
sitting on a sill.
the inside is not is much of our concern is on the outside.
There's
Well, I'm
less
sure it's a
chance
concern
of the
to
plastic
Matt and
getting etched if
MHC.
it's on the inside.
Do that, run that by me again.
Just if it's on the inside, if it is a plastic, that there's less chance of it getting etched because once that gets etched, it's so ugly on the outside.
Well, I'll have that conversation with him.
Okay.
Also, it kind of obliterates the existing trim and the depth of the recess in the windows if it's on the outside.
Yeah, this is this is an important, really old historic building, and I think a sheet, a large paned storm window would, reflecting in the light. I think you'll totally lose the muntins. You'll lose the appearance of those old windows.
Well, I have to tell you, we did this, we put storms on the outside of the Athenaeum pretty much the same way.
Well, we're
Okay.
recommending you don't put them on this one.
Okay. What did you do with 99 Main
Uh,
in a nutshell?
Yeah, so what we're hoping to see is the 6-foot fence starting at the back of the building, not sort of halfway through the actual building. There's a step there, and it's where it's at the back. It seems like a more logical place for a transition in the height of the fence. And we'd also rather see the front gate and fence remain as they are.
The front gate's not getting touched.
Oh,
This is just coming down the side in between us and the guy running around naked in his yard in there.
well,
They're causing a lot of problems with everybody that surrounds this guy. So everybody around him has a 6-foot fence. We
mhm.
want to replace the rotting fence that we have. Clearly, that's those 2 sections back there. And then bring it forward a little bit so we can obliterate that problem.
Well, I think suggest that someone just talk to this guy or tell him to go back to Florida.
They have no dice.
Anyway,
Makes them worse.
that's it's nice to hear you're going to leave the front gate as it is, but it really wasn't very clear on the application. We all thought you were working on the front gate.
No, there's nothing on the front gate. Even on the map says nothing on the front gate.
Well,
Okay,
we're not going to reopen it, but those were our comments.
okay.
Are we all good on this one with my latest?
Yeah, I totally agree with the indoor storms.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll go on to
Are we next here?
12 Straight Wharf.
Oh, what did you do with 41B Cliff?
We never received the application. So what's going on there?
It's kind of interesting. Anybody who's been here long enough remembers Jimmy Barker's dogs in that front porch, that glass in front porch. When the owners bought it in 2001, they had to renovate the house. They took that abomination off the front. There were no windows in there because they had been removed so he could have an opening from the inside to that glassed in porch. And they replaced the windows as part of an overall renovation up there. And every single window in the house is a tilt-in Brasco. So what they'd like to do now, as we all know, Brascos don't last, is replace them with Norwood, double pane wood, instead of these Broscos with triple tracks.
So this is the building here.
Yeah. And the middle section was replaced entirely in 2001, so they were all new windows too. And then we have a new addition approved out the back, so those are all new windows. And all the windows in the forward section of the house are all the same windows as in the middle section that was replaced in 2001. So every one of them is a Brosco, and they're all Tiltons with the spring loads.
All right, so say again what you're proposing to do with the front. So it's all these windows that we're seeing here. You want to replace them with what?
Norwoods, which are a wood window with the
Yeah.
right profile, 6/6 or whatever the window is. They're all mostly 6/6. There's only a couple of 3/3s. Replace them with
TDLs?
Norwoods, double paned, so we don't have to put storms on them.
So it's SDLs.
Yeah.
Ugh.
As I say, there's not an original window left in this house. And what the HCC's been doing is allowing SDLs in particular on the sides. You can't see the left side at all, and you can't see the rear addition, and you can't see the new addition because it's stepped back.
Okay, I'm gonna personally,
That's it.
myself suggest that we have TDLs on the street side, and maybe it's okay to have SDLs on the sides.
Okay, that's what they've been doing.
Yeah,
Everybody else okay with that?
yeah, or at least like, just wrapping in that first third of that building, because it's a long building.
So,
Yeah, I would say
So-
at least
so
the
TDL on the
front
front
two
and then, like,
windows
the
on the
first
side.
Third of the structure, but everything back can be SDL on the side and then the rear.
well, you'll see a change in the style. There'll probably be storms on the front, but not on
That's
this
my
one.
problem. If we don't, and the windows are 12 feet above your head, so you can't tell what they are. And there's only those 4 windows on the front. I don't know why we wouldn't run the Norwoods all the way around wood and not have storms at all.
Well, I
You need
get,
an application. I don't know the building that well.
I've got more pictures in here, Holly, or whoever's controlling this. There are more pictures of this.
well, I'm controlling it, Linda, and we never, Kadeem never put this application on our review packs, and none of us have drawings of it at all.
Oh, well, there's one older picture in the records. Doesn't look like this, put it that way. It's got that dark brown trim, stuff like that. But pretty much the front facade is what it is without that glassed-in porch they took that glassed-in porch off.
Mhm. Is this,
Yeah,
Horrible.
does the
So
building
I-
look like this now?
Does what?
Does the building look like this right now?
Pretty much.
All
I
right, so-
would I'd rather talk about this when we actually have an application in front of us.
Yes, I agree.
I kind of
This is
feel
the
like we're going in
application.
circles.
Yeah,
Where'd this come from? This is the part of the application.
well, I'm on Street View, just on my computer.
Oh, because there's a whole application that came in with this with a bunch of pictures.
right. We didn't get it.
okay, can we move on?
With
All
the
right.
window survey and everything else.
But I'd like to say something because we don't know if they're going to review this before our next meeting.
Right.
Oh,
Fine.
probably
Then,
not.
then what I'll say is the front mass needs to be all TDL. Everything else in back of that mass can be SDL. That's my opinion.
Okay, I'll go with that.
All
I
right,
agree with that.
All right, so you don't care if we have triple tracks on the front and nothing anywhere else?
It's a true divided light look, and I think that if you put SDLs even on the front, I mean, yeah, they're a better window. Yeah, there's no storm, but it's also a lot less authentic looking. This is a Greek revival. It's an older building. It needs true divided lights.
And when it was built, it wasn't Greek revival, as you know, they added all that tchotchke later on when it became popular. But,
Right.
all right, I can do that, and I can do Norwood does make a wood storm.
Great, even better.
Good.
So to be clear, we're talking about the facade and the 3 windows along the south side and then the dormers.
No, I'm not
Correct.
coughing those up,
no, not the dormers.
Okay.
and I'm not
I
coughing,
wasn't sure if all the windows were getting replaced. Okay.
I'm not giving up those 3 windows out of SDL.
Because the addition in the back after that sort of break in the building, all looks new anyway.
Well, I'm not giving up those 3 windows on the side. We just did that at Pleasant, and I'm not doing TDLs on those 3 windows.
Yeah, that's fine, Linda. You can argue that point at the meeting. We're
Yeah.
just we're gonna recommend it though.
Yep, I'll battle that.
Yep.
Okay, I think
Uh,
that's it.
All right, TDLs on the front, mass first floor, SDLs in the back.
Yeah,
All good with that?
yes.
What about the left side? You can't see it. Period.
The
Mickey,
same
go
thing.
up your little
Let's, you know,
Google.
you could, Linda, why don't you just take that up with the HDC? I think the front mass needs to stay TDL. We all agree with that.
Yep.
I mean, we're a narrative board, you know that.
Yep.
That's our opinion.
But I didn't know if you wanted me to do the side on the left, which you cannot see.
I
We're
think-
implying that.
Huh?
We are implying that by saying the front main mass.
Okay, I'm gonna battle that. All right,
Okay, thanks, Linda.
thank you.
Yep. All right, moving on. Did that one.
You already did that one.
This is 34 Cliff Road, right?
No. Yeah,
No?
yeah, that is 34.
Yeah, this is
Working on that.
Lisa's.
Botticelli and Pool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, this is, it's hard to read what this is, but it looks like some lattice that was covering previously approved. And what's interesting is this, that French door is set back a ways. It looks like it's in the same plane, but they're actually set back 10 feet or so. But they're still facing the street. So I was just going to suggest we say that this French door should be a window and a door rather than French doors. Where is it?
So what's there? I thought the French door was approved.
Well, it probably is because it says previously approved. So I don't know if they built it or not, but they had, it was approved with I guess the caveat that there's a lattice here.
Right. So they also, the door is different.
The door has changed. I don't mind the door.
Well, I think I'd rather not see 6 light door there. I think I'd rather see a 2 light door because it's a 2/2 house.
How about, you mean a 4 light with upper panes or what do you?
Yeah, 4 light or just something, even little chiclet,
Yeah, I don't mean
something
4 light.
more, a
4
little
panel?
more interesting and appropriate for this building than a 6 light.
How about a 4 panel door?
A 4 panel door?
4 panel, typical old 4 panel.
I don't know. That doesn't go with this building, but okay.
If the upper panels could be glass and it would
Could be
go.
glass.
like this.
Well, yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, like 2 panel glass, 1 panel bottom, 4 panel, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, but just not that 6 light, 1 panel deal.
No, that's like a craftsman house.
Yeah, you're right. Front door. Or with glass.
But I wonder if these approved French doors were conditional on that lattice. So have them check in with their own notes about that. With them being set back, I mean, I think that's, well, I think they were already approved and may already be there. I don't know, but I don't think it would be unusual for French doors, especially with this sort of verticality to them, to be in a Victorian, added porch like this.
Yeah, I don't mind the French doors.
Okay.
They
So
they are far back. I think that the lattice was probably just one of those things that was a conditional approval. They're there, it was approved. So we're not really looking at the doors. We're just looking at the lattice and the front door.
all right. I don't really care that much myself. We usually don't like to see French doors facing the street, but this is a Victorian and it's probably.
And it's a funky building. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have arched French doors or like half arched or something, but
Yeah,
but those are already approved. I think they're already there, so we can't change
Okay.
that, but
All right. So let's just say no concerns.
okay.
Except for the front, except for the 6 light
Oh,
door.
right. Front door to be,
Yeah, but I think again, that's probably already there.
No, that's part of the request. It's
It is?
clouded. It's a revision.
I
let's-
thought it was just for the,
If
oh,
you look,
the
if you look at
fenestration.
previous approved, you'll see a 6 panel door. 2 of those would be the silly little transom lights.
she is applying for a door.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, so I've got front door to be 4-panel with glass panes on
Yeah.
top.
great.
Next.
Is that confusing? I mean, could that be glass top and bottom?
Yeah, just say glass top,
With,
glass panels up.
I said front door to be 4-panel with glass panes on top.
Great. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Rock and roll. Let's go.
All right, we're getting there. 10 quints. Big fence. 6-foot board fence all around the back of the property.
I went and looked at that. I have no problem with it.
Probably not going to be visible.
Might even clean up the area a little bit.
You know, I was under the impression that the HTC had something maybe in building with Nantucket in mind about fences not higher than 5 feet. But I looked in my book, and I don't have the more recent version, but they say basically anything over 6 feet is a spite fence and they're not allowed.
Mickey, I had the same memory. I was thinking 5 feet as well, but yeah, I mean, it's set back on both the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns.
Okay, no concerns. That's what I thought. All right, color. Changing from gray to white, I believe. And Hamilton blue front door.
Okay, the sashes are like that dark green, putty green.
Do you think that's the gray they're talking about, that putty green?
I don't know.
It almost looks like a charcoal gray on the sash.
It's not. It's a darker. I went up and looked at it,
Okay.
and it's an attractive color.
Well, they're asking for white, and we've, you know, white is hard to contest downtown.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer it the way it is. I would change the blue door.
Yeah.
And I am assuming that the front stoop is remaining natural to weather.
They're not asking to change it.
Okay, and don't forget that the side porch is,
Right.
That's a lot of white there too.
Yes. Where is that side
Yeah.
porch? Here we
Well,
go.
don't have to
can
like
we
it.
recommend that it's natural or gray just to soften it? I mean, there's certainly precedent for white, but
You know,
What do
I've
you
got, as a preliminary note, I just put prefer gray, but white is acceptable because,
Yeah.
or natural, save the painting, the chemicals, the work, the maintenance,
what do you,
What's natural? How are you going to make trim natural?
the front porch. Oh, I thought this was the fence we were talking about.
no,
Yeah, the
We're past the
fence is
fence.
natural to weather.
Well, excuse me.
Get with it, McLeod.
yeah, it's all about the trim and the windows, trim and windows.
Yeah, we don't, I mean, white is white. It's downtown. It's a bummer.
Yeah, never mind.
Rather see it gray, rather see it stay the way it is, but
Yeah, can we say that? But we
Yep.
like the
Would
door change.
rather remain.
Yeah, I just said prefer gray, but white is acceptable. Good enough?
And Hamilton blue for the doors, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't comment on that. Okay. Down to Orange Street, 30 Orange. This guy. You know, this,
Okay, so I know this house pretty well since I lived in it the summer of 1976.
great.
Yeah, on the third floor. Then the porch was a problem. Structurally, I did not go down to Union Street to see how visible the first floor doors would be. As everybody remembers, that used to be very visible from Union Street. But when someone bought that in early 80s or something like that, they sold off those 2 Union Street lots. And so those houses down there were built.
All right, Lucy, we have Matt online here, so let's see what he has to say about this.
Okay.
Thanks. Hi, Lucy. Hey, everyone.
Matt.
So yeah, hopefully it's pretty straightforward. We're basically looking to, change the color of the chimneys. Right now, they're kind of a white wash, if you will, but we want to make them just natural. And as far as the existing doors and windows, there's some that we want to replace like kind. We, as Lucy pointed out, the porch isn't in great shape. I think there's been work done to it over the years, so I don't think it's in any immediate danger, but it's just kind of in bad shape. It's kind of listing, and so we need to replace it. And so that's what we're proposing to do. As part of that is also making the detailing so that it complies with the current building code, so that it meets the definition, and we can't, obviously get the 4-inch sphere through the railing system. One other thing I wanted to point out is that we were on site last Friday with the contractor. He pointed out some additional rot in the first floor decking skirting, and we were hoping to not have to touch that, but it's likely that we might have to replace some portions of that as like kind as well. We're not looking to change any detailing of it on the first floor. The baluster spacing is a really nice, it's actually really tight. It's really pretty cool detail. But we might be expanding some of the like kind replacement to that skirting. Specifically, most of it's like behind the skirt in terms of the structure, but in order to get to some of those areas, we may have to remove or replace some of that skirting. I don't know how, given the age of this structure and its history, we just want to be as transparent as possible about what we may or may not do. And our initial scope didn't include any of that lower level, but it may, and we can update the application accordingly. So if it's at all possible to get some feedback on that, if we do have to replace some of that skirting like kind, that would be helpful for us too. So.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Mhm.
Brooke?
Yeah, I do have to recuse because I was looking at some of the windows for Green Mountain, but I also wanted to kibitz on behalf of Matt, because I did walk around this just because I was very curious about everything. That whole skirt board down below, that's all plywood and pressure treated lumber, so that's not historic. So any work that gets done down there is not removing existing fabric. That second floor deck, I had my hand on the railing once and I felt like I was going to fall down into Union Street. So I think that definitely need to, it's not like a repair job for sure. So that's my positive spin on things.
Okay. Does anybody have any concerns with what we're proposing here?
I would prefer that the chimneys stay as they are and let the existing white paint fall off or whatever. Instead of just getting them to raw brick.
Matt, does this involve rebuilding the chimneys, or can you just sort of, clean them off?
I believe it's rebuilding them, and I believe we got a like kind replacement approval, and so now this is why we're coming in as a separate application for the color.
Okay. So when you rebuild them as natural, will you use the sort of the lighter limestone type mortar rather than Portland?
Yeah, our goal is to literally they just need to be rebuilt. They don't want to do it. Obviously, it's pretty expensive, but they're going to build them to the same exact specifications that the original was, which right now it's kind of tough to see, but our goal is to just rebuild them to the exact same spec they are right now. But if there's any variation of that, we could certainly do that if you prefer.
Well, I guess like kind is as good as it gets. But if it's not clear, I think, what's the age of the building?
The original portion of the building, I want to say, is like definitely mid 19th century, a little bit earlier. Hold on one sec, I just pulled it up. Actually, there you go. Yeah, or it's maybe 1836, the original portion of it.
What we got? Here we go.
So are these chimneys 1836?
27.
27?
I would be surprised, to be honest with you. I can't tell. There are some great historic photos that are in the packet. I can't say with definitively if they are or not, to be honest with you.
My main concern with the chimney is are they getting rebuilt just to change the color, or are they failing in some way?
They're failing.
Yeah.
They're in bad shape. They're in bad shape. Then we actually had a couple masons come out and look at them. It's pretty involved. I don't think anybody would like to, nobody really wants to do it, but it's something that they really have to do, in my opinion.
The other thing is on the first floor, those picture windows, I can't really see what they are. Is that just one big plate glass window? Or three of them?
It's an undivided unit. The existing windows themselves are single pane, if you will. If you scroll down to the drawing just beneath that, you'll see that it's part of the, that's the existing condition. And our goal here was to try to align the doors in a way that kind of flank the two columns and just keep it, just to basically kind of clean it up. It's kind of a two-part. There's a functional component to it on the inside. They definitely need to be replaced. They're not original, and the existing condition is it's a double set of French doors that are flanked with a double mulled single pane. It's somewhat divided. You can actually see below the railing, it's just a clear pane as well, but there is a muntin there. And this was our solution to just kind of really clean it up. As Lucy pointed out, I don't think that you'd have a hard time seeing this, but again, there is existing elements in terms of like an antecedent for the aesthetic.
Well, you see them from the harbor, but I think it just, I guess it bugs me a little bit not to see muttons in there, or something. The existing condition, the proportions seem like they work more consistently with the theme of the double, the French doors in the middle with the flanking windows. And I could see in a living room, that if you had furniture or wanted just the view straight across there, that it might make sense to change that configuration. And I don't know how old that part of the building is, but if it were going to switch to that, it seems to be consistent with everything else to have muttons. But I appreciate the, on a side note, the railing of trying to get that design and still meet code.
Yeah, I think it works. Obviously, it's a little bit more detailed to it, but we tried to stay as authentic as possible to the original and then supplement the detail to make it compliant.
Okay, Lucy, personally, I didn't really have any concerns with this one. I was wondering what the reason for having to rebuild the chimneys was, but if they need, it can't just be repointed. I mean, they just need rebuilding. That is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep. And I think they've had a couple of masons look at it and really experienced people. And like I said, I think that the owners were trying to avoid because they'd rather not. But I think that they're planning to be in this house for a long time, and they consider themselves stewards of the property, and they want to kind of get it ready for the next 100 years.
Lucy?
First of all, that I'm not for the reconfiguration of the doors looking down to Union Street. When you walk in the house now, you walk into the front corridor, your kitchen's to the left, and straight through, you see the living room, and the French doors are there looking out to the harbor. And it's I think for the age of the house, that is a lot more appropriate instead of having a plate of glass and the two doors on either side of the living room. So I'm against changing that window configuration. And I'm not sure about these chimneys being rebuilt. Maybe possibly one of them. If I think about it, I could tell you exactly where those chimneys, the fireplaces are in the house. But the rest of us who own older homes know that fixing these chimneys is possible. And you start doing that, and then what happens to the rest of the interior? But I am for repairing the porch. That has been an issue that's plagued this house for a long time.
Mhm.
I have to say, I've never had a mason say, I can't reuse this chimney. If it actually is so bad that it can't be repointed, it's basically falling apart enough that you dismantle it and then reassemble it, but it's the same, you're using the same material. I would hate to see the loss of any material.
So what if we were to sort of stipulate to reuse the existing bricks? Better?
Well, do you
Why
think
not?
that's gonna happen?
Matt, is that a concern? That shouldn't be that hard.
We can certainly try. I just would want to talk to the contractor to make sure that there's no issue with that. So if you want to make that request, that's totally fine. And to what extent we could do that, I would definitely try. I hesitate to, because it's a little bit outside my area of expertise to wholeheartedly just say, sure, no problem. But
Right.
You're welcome to add that to your comments and suggestions. And
Okay.
for what it's worth too, Lucy, like most of the changes to the interior are relegated to, not that this is under the jurisdiction of the HCC or the HSAB, but the plan is to basically stay within the existing confine of the structures, the structural model of this house, redo the kitchen. There's a number of baths that are kind of wonky. So it's mostly replacing fixtures and things like that. So there's no significant reworking of the interior of the structure planned.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Just
Yeah.
remember, there's a ghost in that house.
Oh, boy. Yep. I'm probably going to keep that one between you and I, because,
Nope, it's a young woman who comes down the front staircase and goes into the parlor, which is to the right of the front door. They used to be called the parlor.
I'll ask if they've seen it. Maybe they have. Who knows?
Of course.
It's a pretty cool house for sure. So, anyways.
All right, so Angus or Lucy, so far you're the one that's more concerned about the window changes. Can you be a little more clear about that so I can, if you want me to write it down?
Well, I think that the French doors, the way they are in the living room on the first floor, should remain in that spot there because of it's, and I know we don't have jurisdiction over the interior, but one of the beauties of that house is that you walk in the front door, and then you see the doors open out over the harbor.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the focal point when you walk in.
Right.
Well, it sounds like whatever's there, the doors, windows are failing. So, I mean, if they're old, I would prefer to see them restored. If they're not, replace them with like kind, but there's a certain proportion that has been maintained with everything else that we're looking at in this east and proposed east. So it would be nice for this to be consistent with the rest.
So what I'm putting is, would like to reuse the existing bricks. I'll reword that, I guess, but also would prefer to keep the French doors centered in the east elevation.
Thank you.
Angus, does that agree with you?
Yeah, I mean, if it's original to when it was built, it makes sense. If it has been tampered with over time and we're just talking about how to fill that space in the middle, my first suggestion really was that instead of the big plate glass windows, to go with something that mimics everything else in that elevation as far as muttons and glazing separation.
So, of course, this will be up to the HDC, and really it's going to be a lot about visibility from below.
Well, I know you can see the water from there, so the water can see it from there.
True.
Well, actually, on a clear day from that widow's or roof walk, you can see the Cape.
Wow.
It's a prominent spot. I actually did some work on this building at one point.
Well, it's a great spot. All right. So Angus, did you want me to add something about muttons?
Just if the configuration were to go through, if there is already new fenestration there where the center French doors and flanking windows are, if the structure and the fenestration has already been tampered with and it's not original to when that was built, that the shown configuration of the flanking French doors with the picture windows in between, I'm just suggesting that everything else, because everything else has muttons, I would suggest or recommend that they have those in those windows as well and doors, because it looks like it's just clear glass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably a given that those are not original windows from the original construction. So, all right, we'll add a note, something to the effect that would also prefer to see true divided light windows.
Okay.
Is that what you're
Right.
thinking, Angus?
Yeah.
If there's nothing else for me, I can get out of your hair.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
That's it. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Have a good one.
Okay, see you. All right, reuse the bricks, keep the French door centered, and true divided lights. Okay. All right. Next is 8 North Water. This is Tori's. Oh, it's not it. Where are this?
No, that's 30 Orange.
Yeah, okay.
That's-
All right. I think these are the windows we're talking about, right?
Yeah. And there was a lot of work done on this house a few years ago.
Yeah, those windows, like just looking at the photo, they look like they're Boston sash.
They're
But it's not-
new. They're fairly new.
Yeah,
We went and looked.
I'm not terribly concerned about swapping out windows. I was a little more focused on the size that we're putting back in here. This is existing, and that's correct. They are different sizes. And that's
I have no concerns. I actually think it's an improvement.
I do too, but
Yeah.
my only comment is maybe, should these windows be the same size up and down? And it's really a question, not a statement. I mean, here they're the similar size, way in the end, in the original section. So
If you
You know,
zoom in, I think if you count the shingles, you'll find that that top one is less tall than the bottom one.
this one,
Yeah. Let's see if I'm mistaken. I'll count the top. I got 12.
Yeah, I've got 14 if you include the whole casing.
Okay, so so they are the same size.
I think that's a little bit more traditional.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as I said, I'm okay with changing the windows. I would just maybe recommend that the ones above match the ones below.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Lucy or Angus, comments on that?
No, I have no problem with it.
I agree.
Okay. Oh, and she was proposing, because this is a little confusing. I think this is just not understanding. Anderson windows.
No.
But she is saying true divided light, which we know is not possible. So I'm just going to clarify that, saying not Andersons, must be TDLs.
I didn't know Anderson did the true divided light.
Don't.
No.
Good catch.
Not Andersons. Yes. Yeah.
You know,
All right.
So I think that it's worth mentioning a manufacturer of true divided lights, because there are some people that this might have been intentional. I mean, I hate to say that, but it might have been intentionally misleading in this case, so that they can say, well, we got true divided lights approved, but we also got Anderson approved, and Anderson doesn't make true divided lights, so we're going with Anderson. So, and again, I'm not pushing, I mean, there's Brosco, there's Green Mountain, there's Boston Sash, there's Norwood. There's probably like one other TDL company that you could do, but we could just say at least specifically not Anderson as a manufacturer.
Okay.
Yeah,
On the application, there's a box for I understand about true divided lights.
There
that
is.
box checked?
Yeah, that's a good question. Go up, is that box checked on that checklist?
The checklist isn't here.
Interesting.
Checked off. Okay.
Okay, so I did say not Andersons, must be wood sash TDLs.
Excellent.
Fair enough.
And
And match the size below. Good.
yep.
All right, that's it.
All right. Motion to approve the comments.
Second.
I'm gonna switch that around. Lucy made the motion.
yeah.
Brooke seconded.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
And motion to adjourn from
Yes.
Lucy and Brooke, seconds.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Thanks, guys.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mickey.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Nikki.
Nikki. Bye.
See you later.